right, we'll go ahead and call our ordinance committee meeting to order. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have our audience of citizens, all these millions of people out here, if they want to speak. No one's online, so we'll get right to our approval of our minutes. That was the last meeting? Wow, it's a long time ago. Hard to remember.
The June 4th meeting minutes.
Thank you, second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Good, one abstention, okay. Right, so moved. Okay, on to our major topic. Where we at? Yep.
So, housing units, discussion and possible action. I don't know, Jeff, you want to kind of take the lead on this? Sure.
So as you know, from a prior brief discussion on it, there's a statute in Connecticut. It's Connecticut General Statute 8-215 that provides that municipalities can, by ordinance, create an abatement opportunity in connection with housing that's developed solely for low or moderate income persons, abatement of real estate taxes. So we currently don't have such an ordinance. The statute requires that the abatement be used for one or more of the following purposes and then provides a few specific uses. One is to reduce rents below levels which would be achieved in the absence of the abatement and improve quality and design of the housing. Another is to affect occupancy of the housing by persons and families of varying income levels as determined by the Commissioner of Housing, or to provide necessary related facilities or services in such housing. So you have to have an ordinance, and if you have an ordinance, then anybody who develops property housing solely for low or moderate income persons can apply for an abatement, and the town would, if an abatement is approved, enter into a contract or written agreement with the property owner to set forth the terms of the abatement. I was asked to provide a sample of an existing tax abatement ordinance adopted under General Statute 8-215. I think I provided Guilford's, which I had worked on. Not to say that it is a draft of what we would do here, but just to give you an example. Guilford's was written, I guess it was about 10 years ago now, with a specific project in mind, similar to what this would be, frankly. And that involved a nonprofit tax exempt entity. So in their ordinance, they had limited eligibility to tax exempt nonprofit developers of affordable housing. So, again, the statute gives you a lot of discretion in terms of the amount of an abatement, the length of an abatement. Really what it requires is that the housing has to be solely for low or moderate income persons, and that the abatement has to be used for one or more of those three statutory purposes. We, in the context of discussions with Vesta about the Percival Avenue property, Vesta had requested that the town consider adopting an ordinance under 8-215. We talked at the executive session of town council a couple of weeks ago, I believe, about the concept of 8-215, the ordinance, and in specific this project. in terms of the proposed purchase price for the property and how the proposed abatement would affect or not affect that. And we talked about, not going to talk about it because we're in public right now, but talked about different numbers that constitute negotiations with regard to the sale of real estate, so are not proper for us to talk about in public session. But with that as a backdrop, that's the topic.
Okay. What do we think about this, folks? Obviously, we know what we're trying to accomplish, get our senior housing.
Question I have is, there was a lot of discussion over the years about financing and being able to age restrict versus low income and moderate income. I'm understanding this is gonna be an age restricted development, correct? Would this ordinance hinder the developer's ability to keep it age restricted is my.
The ordinance doesn't in any way impact any kind of age restriction. It impacts rent levels, right? And I think my recollection of this project, at least conceptually, is we were looking at like 20% of the units being restricted to 50% AMI. Is that right?
So we can still maintain that age restriction.
Yeah, the age restriction is not relevant to this. You can do that regardless.
I did notice that one of the terms, in this particular example, one that we were given, says that the housing is built with financial subsidies from state or federal housing programs. So if it's private, this would not allow. If it was backed financially by a private equity or whatever, they wouldn't be allowed to have
Well,
treatment.
well, again,
I know this is just
this
a
is-
sample, but am I
this is
interpreting
why I
it-
hesitate to provide samples.
Okay, so it's just a sample in this
This
particular
is
example, they
Guilford's. I
can't.
could give you New Canaans and New Havens, and everybody does it differently. The statute is very broad in terms of how you write it. There's no requirement that it be limited to public subsidized housing. It's not part of the statute. It can be completely private.
Okay, other questions? So what, I think so we're all in favor of looking at this
Yeah.
statute? Regular, so, okay, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna go ahead and, if we vote it through, we'll go to the council?
Well,
We gotta do, I know, we gotta write it, we gotta
I was gonna
get,
say, we're not
we
just
gotta,
passing this one.
no, we have to,
you're gonna need.
in concept,
Okay,
You're
in
gonna need
concept.
to, you're gonna
Yes.
need to
That's what we need.
give me some instruction
Yes,
as to
of
what you
course.
want me to do by
Right, right,
way
right.
of drafting the ordinance.
Yep.
You don't have to in the context of sending the ordinance to the council,
Before we,
determine any amounts or anything. That's on a case by case
right, later,
basis.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that. You can just say, hey, Jeff, draft an ordinance that's, pretty open-ended under the statute, and then we'll just deal with it on a case-by-case basis, and I can come back with an ordinance that's more open-ended than the sample, and
Yeah.
you decide if you like that, and then send it
Would
to the
each
council.
project go to the council then?
Well, if you have an ordinance, right,
Ordinance,
so the
so-
process is, you send it to a public hearing,
can do that.
once you have an ordinance that you like. If you adopt the ordinance and it becomes the law of the town, anytime anyone applies, there would have to be a contract tax abatement agreement that you would have to approve.
For the council, like we approved the industrial rebate.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Yep, you approve all the tax abatement agreements on the economic development ordinance front right now.
can I just ask that while we, have you work on that, that maybe we can get just a couple more samples
Sure.
to look at? That way I'll have, something to compare it, and I've just been on contracts all day today, so I'm
Sure, okay.
focused.
Yeah, and I think Jeff, well, we'll look at, get us a couple samples too, and maybe if you wanna start drafting something, in general, right? And then we can, the next time, we could narrow it down to what we exactly want and will work for us as a town.
Yeah, I'll send you a handful of existing ordinances under the statute, and I'll also send you a draft of what I think yours could look like.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So would you want to meet the first meeting in May then? Continue this conversation?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. No, we still got it. He's got to draft it anyway, but yeah, and we could add some stuff once
So that would be May 6th. So we would meet 6.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yes. 6 o'clock, 6 at 6, okay.
It's my mother's birthday, so.
Oh, wow.
87.
Really? Oh, nice. For her. So, yeah, that's it. That's good. And then also, just we mentioned Ryan before, but if the next meeting, we could also talk about the noise
Yeah.
ordinance
Add
and,
to the agenda.
yeah, see what we can do next time for that and
I'll follow up with
sound it.
SH Acoustics.
yeah.
That as well. So we can do both, I think.
Yeah, I think we just have to tweak it a little bit based upon their, expertise and what we should probably have in there for decibels and the hertz
I think
readings.
it was they had identified what the low frequency
Yes,
to the noise.
right,
That instance.
right. And that's not even, I don't think we even have that in there. I think we just have the decibels, right? We don't have the hertz, the low frequency, right? We didn't put that in there, right?
No, we started with a much more robust ordinance, if you recall.
Yes,
And we got a lot of negative feedback from the PD on it. And
yes,
it got watered down. And I had made a comment that at some point you watered this down so much that why even bother adopting the ordinance, right?
yeah.
But that's what we ended up with, and
Yeah.
now here we are back to the drawing table.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Do
a
other
different,
towns have noise ordinances that go down to that level of the megahertz and everything?
Some do,
that
yeah.
detail?
Yeah, since Deep stopped enforcing it, a lot of towns really kind of beefed them up.
Okay,
Back when Deep was enforcing it, it wasn't an issue,
okay.
just like odor.
and it was a completely different issue, remember, that we were obviously looking at. It was a different,
Yeah.
wasn't anywhere
Different
near
noise
this
issue.
type of problem, but yeah, we should make it all encompassing as far as other issues that we obviously have already faced and probably will face going forward, who knows? So, yeah, whatever we get out of that, out of our engineers, Ryan and Jeff,
Yeah, because I think we need SH Acoustics to weigh in on what's
Yes.
measurable.
Absolutely.
We don't want to have a standard that we can't test.
No.
We also don't want to have to call them every time we want to test either.
No, that we don't
That
want.
was
we
going to
don't-
be my question.
have-
Yeah, we don't.
How much is it going to cost?
We don't have
us
that
if
in
we
our
go
budget.
that route, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
on a
no.
case-by-case basis? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
versus
Well, we
what
can
we
probably get some other equipment if we don't have it. I mean, we bought some equipment already, but I don't think it measures.
To have sound.
But I don't think I don't think that measures the megahertz
No, I-
level, right?
it's-
I don't know what that
Yeah.
equipment is.
Well, then,
I don't know what they
if we
bought.
have the equipment, can we really interpret the data? Or are we still going to have to send that out to an expert?
Well, we can maybe get them trained on it.
Yeah. we could
That's what,
train
that's what most towns do, is you get 2 people trained on it.
Yeah, I think we did that with the police, right? They know the decibel levels. They know what's in the ordinance, how to use the equipment. We can do that the same with this.
Motorcycle and pull that little thing out.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. So, I don't think that's gonna be that hard to get that in place and make it useful for us.
I mean, my suggestion would be that, we ask Steve, not only to take a look at the ordinance in terms of what we could do to address similar situations, but also understand that it needs to be enforceable. And in order for it to be enforceable, it needs to be quantifiable. In order for it to be quantifiable, it has to be capable of being measured in a way that's going to be admissible in court as non-hearsay evidence. So maybe one of the things we could do is whatever we end up with down the road, we could have Steve's firm train a
Hmm.
couple people and videotape the training. So if those people leave, we have an instructional video of how
It's a good
to go
idea.
about doing this.
Yeah.
And then if we end up getting challenged in court, we can say that we had professional training and here's the tape to show the judge and that kind of thing, to kind of show that we're not making it up as we go.
Yeah, that would be good. Yes, could do that. And Fran, while you're here, anything you'd like to add? While you're here, I mean, we're good. We're good? Okay. Noise is noise. The other one, you heard the other. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk later. But Maureen, would you come up just so we can capture you if you're gonna say it? So we.
Yeah. He's got to play Kate tonight,
I know,
so
I
he's,
gotta.
yeah, he's in the role of Kate and the town manager, so he's got a dual role tonight, yeah. It's tough, being Kate, huh?
It is. Big shoes here.
Want the maps now, or are they?
I think we can hold off on the maps for now. That's, we'll be having the executive session at the start of the normal meeting at 7.
Yeah.
So, we can talk about that. We talked with,
Okay,
Darren and Ally about that, so.
okay, great.
Um,
And so no, noise is one of those things that's
another-
really hard to measure and you don't know you need it until you need it.
Yes,
And training, we did those tapes for utilizing the equipment at the community garden.
Yeah.
And it's mostly helped with the gardeners knowing how to use the new solar.
Yeah.
Not new anymore, but solar wells there, and I think that that kind of tape is a really great idea. It does make it lasting. I don't have anything else to add.
no, we're good, thanks, yeah, we're good. Okay, if that is it, we know where we're headed, we're going forward, we'll just go ahead and take a motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved. All right,
So we're gonna stop recording at 6:17 PM and then we have a regular town council meeting at 7 PM. So we'll pick it back up then.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.